They scout based on relationships and clips. And I'm like, we drafted Yvonne Ejim for that reason. We drafted Brie Hall because she's Aaliyah Boston's friend. Why did we not just draft Sita Fulter at this stage? Why not just let Caitlin Clark go get an Iowa player? And the way things are going, the only positive is that we might go and draft Hannah Stuelke next year. They do not have a scout. I repeat, they do not have a scout employed.
Organization getting absolutely fried after what Stephanie White had to say about this new signing, Kyra Lambert.
Caitlin Clark is putting up numbers that make TV ratings explode, arenas sell out, and Fever merch skyrocket by 300%. But here's the part almost nobody is talking about. Behind the scenes, Indiana reportedly doesn't even have a scouting department. That's right, 0 professional scouts at a time when Clark is bringing in an estimated $100 million in value to the league. Why is a franchise swimming in new revenue acting like a low-budget startup?
People are like, oh, but she didn't leave Iowa. Yeah, because Iowa was a good situation for her. She had teammates she respected. She had a coach she respected. And I do think that Caitlin Clark respects Stephanie White as a coach. You strongly underestimate how much more Caitlin cares about basketball than anything else. We have to stop saying Caitlin wants to spend her entire career in Indiana. It's like, yeah, I think Caitlin would. And we're like, oh, she won't leave the Midwest.
The answer could explain their blowout losses and why Herb Simon suddenly made eye-opening comments about Stephanie White. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video.
When Stephanie White basically just said that we scout. And I would be shocked. Like I wasn't wrong on the Ari one. I said that Ari wouldn't be a good pickup with Caitlin Clark, albeit or a good player to bring in with Caitlin Clark. I don't understand how the Fever are out here signing a player from the Greek league.
Did you know the Indiana Fever are being accused of having 0 professional scouts on staff right now? 0. That's not just unusual, that's unheard of at the pro level. Every single franchise in the NBA, WNBA, even overseas clubs at much smaller budgets, they all run on scouting departments. Scouts gather film, analyze numbers, investigate players' backgrounds, and basically serve as the backbone for evaluating talent. Without them, you're left guessing. And guesswork in the pros usually ends with embarrassing records and lopsided losses. Yet here we are, talking about a team pulling bigger crowds than ever, and supposedly doing it without even the most basic infrastructure. Now contrast that with what Caitlin Clark has done since setting foot in the league. Attendance has skyrocketed, national television numbers look like college football Saturdays, and merchandise racks are empty by halftime because her jerseys sell out instantly. One player flipped the economy of the Fever overnight. This isn't even normal growth. It's explosive. Think about it. Arenas that used to hide upper decks behind tarps are full houses now. Road games feel like home games because of her draw, and that flood of energy means money more than the Fever have ever seen. Millions pouring in through ticket sales, TV contracts, partnerships, and souvenirs. The numbers aren't just up, they're breaking records across the board. That's why the idea of a front office cutting corners sounds so wild. You'd expect a team enjoying this kind of jackpot to expand, to hire, to build a foundation around their new superstar. Instead, whispers point to them saving on one of the most critical areas, the entire scouting department. Imagine an NFL team going into a draft with no scouts. Imagine an MLB team rolling into free agency with no analytics crew. Yet that's exactly what the Fever seem to be doing. The contrast between financial windfall and bare-bones operation isn't just surprising, it's alarming. Stephanie White accidentally showed everyone just how patchy this system is. She made a casual comment about needing different hands on deck to evaluate players like Kyra Lambert, who was playing abroad.
So it really is all hands on deck and trying to get the best person possible to fit the need at the time. Right, it's all the above. It's seeing film, watching clips, talking to contacts and connections. Bree and especially has been super helpful in this. She's got a lot of contacts overseas who have seen.
After all of the now you'd think that we'd have a scouting department, right? Organization getting absolutely fried after what Stephanie White had to say about this new signing, Kyra Lambert. Not necessarily about what she had to say about Kyra Lambert.
To anyone else, that sounds innocent. Coaches often say they need help scouting, but read between the lines. She wasn't talking about scouts backing her with reports and film packages. She was practically admitting they didn't have a structure for it. That little slip opened up a window into the much bigger problem. Instead of pro scouts with databases, networks, and years of specialized experience, the Fever have been leaning on word of mouth and favors. That's not a system built for winning championships. It's patchwork. They're depending on piecemeal info, where one coach calls a friend or someone knows someone overseas. That's backyard ball compared to professional scouting. The crazy part is the Pacers, who share the same roof under owner Herb Simon, have 8 full-time scouts dedicated just to roster building. 8, and yet their sister team across the hall? Allegedly 0. How do you explain that? Same owner, same city, completely different levels of investment. This isn't about not having resources. It's about priorities. Here's where it gets even stranger.
Hey, has this player that you signed off of a whim, was she even on your radar recently? No? Oh, okay. They're getting fried. I mean, what do you want me to say? Ouch. This is supposed to be a first-rate organization that has no foreign scouts. The arrogance in which she said no. The fact that she didn't understand that was...
Fans dug through social media and realized that Brianna Turner, an active WNBA player, played a major role in connecting the Fever with Lambert overseas. Think about that. Your current player is out here doing your recruiting. She's not trained. She's not a scout. She's not paid for this. She just happened to have contacts. That isn't professionalism. That's desperation. And it highlights a line that feels uncomfortable. Because when Black players are expected, even indirectly, to pick up unpaid roles to keep operations going, while Clark's star power drives record cash, it's not only odd, it starts to feel exploitative. You can sense why some fans and analysts are uneasy. So when Herb Simon made those eye-opening comments about Stephanie White's role, it felt like he wasn't just talking about a coach. He was acknowledging cracks across the entire organization. He stopped short of spelling it out, but the message was loud. There are structural gaps that can't be ignored anymore, which leaves us at the biggest question hanging over Indiana right now. If Caitlin Clark has created a $100 million shift in value, how on earth does this franchise still not have a proper scouting department? That contradiction doesn't just raise eyebrows, it sets the stage for a serious debate about where the Fever are really headed. Caitlin Clark is doing everything possible to bring attention to the WNBA. She's breaking records, filling seats, and giving the Fever opportunities they've never had before. But none of that matters if the team around her doesn't get serious about building real infrastructure. Without scouting, without investment, without support, they risk wasting the most marketable years of her career. So here's the bigger question. Is this just Indiana mismanaging a golden chance? Or is it a sign the whole league is too focused on short-term attention? If you were Clark, would you stay loyal or search for better support?